Hi, this is Sandra with the Little Back House located in San Dimas, California. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. And if you are one of my regular viewers, thank you for subscribing. If you like upcycling and repurposing for the purpose of retailing, then you are at the right channel. What I do is I take secondhand items from thrift stores, yard sales, garage sales, estate sales. Sometimes people drop it off for me in the back of my store, and I put my little spin on it and I sell it here in my store. I'm located in Old Town San Dimas, and we are known as Antique Row. I usually take all the old pieces, I don't really sell antiques, and I paint them and give them a new life. So that is what I am known for here on our little street. Today I will be making some signs here for my store. I like to upcycle canvases that I pick up, like I said, from along the way, and give them a new life. So whenever I get a little stack of canvases together, then I will get all my little scrap pieces from my transfers. I'll pull out my stamps, I'll pull out my silk screens, and I just do a little holiday decor. My customers like to come here because nothing is ever the same. I always tell customers I can't do the same thing twice, because more than likely either the piece is one of a kind or it was just a piece of a transfer left over from a bigger job. So feel free to stay here and watch as I go along, and I will show you how I upcycle some canvases and some decor for the store. And at the end of the video, I'll take you along, around the store, and I will show you how I display the pieces in the store, if I still have them, if they're not sold yet. But we'll try to get to it right away so that they're not gone before I finish this video. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy. Okay, let's get started on project number 1. And just a reminder, if you like any of the paint and supplies you see on these thrift flips, you can visit us and purchase them at thelittlebackhouse.com. Okay, so I picked up these cute little metal items at the thrift store. These tin serving trays, the little witches, and the little cake tray. And after watching Ginger Chick Rehab, she always coats it with this black spray paint, and then paints it. So I'm going to try that technique. So I'm going to give these all 2 coats of black spray paint. I didn't have a Lazy Susan, so I'll give them a coat and then flip it. The witches, I think I'm going to leave black and then just add a little bow or some sort of embellishment. And the trays we will paint and put a transfer. Okay, so they all have 2 coats of black spray paint, and next I'm going to take my Restoration by Wise Owl Paint Company, and I am going to give them 2 coats of chalk paint. And I am using my favorite shorty brush. This is the S50. I love the S50 and I love the S30, and they're both just a shorter handled brush. They are by Klingon, and they are wonderful to use, and I carry them both in the store and on the website. If you haven't tried Wise Owl Paint, I highly suggest you try it. It is a clay mineral base, so it has really good coverage, And you can see I just started to put one coat and it's already covering the black really nicely. Although I will give it 2 coats because I want full coverage. So I got a little bit on the edges, and you could just take a wipe, a little wipey, and wipe off any of the excess. It does not cure right away unless you seal it, or it sits there for 30 days. So a wet wipe will just reactivate it, and you can just take off whatever parts that you don't want. So I'm trying to keep the edge black. So I'm just going to wipe that edge off and keep it nice and clean. So I lost the footage where I applied the silk screen, but you can see that I've applied the silk screen. I used black paint, and then I used the metallic gold dust for the amen part. Now I am going to stick one of my fall transfers on from ReDesign by Prima, just to kind of give it that nice fall warm look that will take us in through these autumn days. And I think all the colors just mesh well together. And I'm kind of just positioning it, making sure I like it, and I'll take the little stick that comes with the transfers, and you'll see how quickly these rub on to your piece. Your transfers will stick to painted items, metal items, windows, mirrors, glass. They stick to just about anything, so they're really, really fun to add to your decor. I love doing seasonal items for the store. Customers come in looking for new things for the season, and ReDesign by Prima does a great job on giving us the tools that we need to make seasonal decor. Okay, so if you are enjoying these thrift flip projects for retail, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks again for watching. Let's get started on project number 2. Okay, so I've already painted these canvases in black, 2 coats of black paint, and here I am just kind of laying out my design. what I do is in the evenings I'll take a bunch of canvases or a bunch of doors or whatever I have that would work nicely for a sign, and I will pre-paint all the base coat, whether it's black or ivory or any color that I have extra of, and get them all ready so then the next night I get to play with my design. So here I'm taking the Vintage Rustic Transfer by ReDesign by Prima, and I'm going to lay it out. And this is the fun part, you know, painting the base coat's just like, you know, pretty monotonous, but I usually watch one of my favorite YouTubers or listen to one of my books and do all my base coats, and this is the part that I just, you know, as every creative or crafter or artist, this is the fun part. So I don't put a sealer or anything, I just put it right on top of my paint and it sticks really nicely. Then I take the stick that comes with your transfers and I just push it down. A lot of people do seal their paint before they put the transfer, and I do on furniture, but I find when I do the canvases that I just don't need to do that step. They stick nicely and I just seal them in after I'm all done. This is so relaxing to me. I like to watch other people on YouTube, you know, doing the transfers, and I enjoy doing them myself. So we'll just go through as I get this transfer on there. Okay, so got the transfer on, and I just burnish it with my hand to make sure I don't have any air bubbles or air pockets or anything. It's sticking down very well. And next I'm going to use one of my silk screens, and this one says live in the moment. Kind of deciding where I'm going to place it. And although I do like doing seasonal decor, I like to have things that people could keep up all year, but yet the colors in the Vintage Rustic Transfer lend itself really well to fall. But if they wanted to keep it up all year, they could, or move it around the house. So that's always fun too. So I'm kind of just keeping this one neutral. I'm taking my gold chalk paste and my little sponge applicator thing, or rubber. It's not really a sponge, it's more like a rubber, but you could use a credit card, you could use one of those Pampered Chef scrapers, anything like that that's kind of firm that could push it into that silk screen. I happen to have these sitting there, so that's what I'm using. try and keep my supplies handy on my table so I could just play and have things at my disposal. I wipe off any excess that's on my transfer. My silk screen, I mean. And just put it back into my little dish. This is always the fun part, to pull off the silk screen. See how pretty it looks. But I just love that. Yeah, the gold looks really nice with that transfer, and you can kind of see where I have that little gap. Maybe I didn't push enough in there, so I'll just take a little artist brush and get a little bit of that chalk paste. Just dab it in there just to fill in that little gap. Then I will seal it and put it in my store. So if you rent a booth or sell at shows or have a little brick and mortar like myself, saving all the little scraps and pieces from your transfers really do make for nice signs. If you would like some more behind the scenes from my store, please feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Let's start project number 3. Okay, so here we go. I am taking some thrifted canvases and wood pieces that I find and pick up, you know, like I said, either at thrift stores or yard sales and things like that. I gave this one 2 coats of the black Wisel paint. Whenever I paint a project, a piece of furniture, things like that, any kind of paint that I have left over, I always keep it for little projects like this, whether it be to give the base coat or to stencil. So now I am taking some of my restoration paint and my JRV stencil brush, and you can see I am blotting it off because the less paint when you're stenciling, the better. That is definitely the key to stenciling. I am using my Jamie Ray vintage stencil in the bird toile pattern, and I am absolutely in love with these stencil brushes. If you have not tried the JRV stencil brushes, they are phenomenal. They're nice and firm, yet they're still soft. The bristles are very soft, and they just stencil very, very nicely. I don't have any bristles falling out or leaving any kind of remnants of bristles behind, so I just love them. I'm using the swirl method, which I did learn from Vintage Bee Designs, Mara, and I just love this technique ever since I started using it and stopped dabbing or pouncing and swirling instead. I just get such less bleed through, and I'm just so much more apt to go for my stencils, where before I didn't use my stencils very much because I always had so much bleed through and clean up, and it's not fun when that happens. But ever since I started swirling, I love the shading that it gets. You can go darker in areas if you just keep layering your paint, and I just don't get bleed through like I used to, so I find myself using more and more of my stencils because of that. You know, it's the path of least resistance. So it's coming out good. So I love the way how this turns out, and you can see how it's like, you know, very soft and shaded and variegated in color. It's not just one, you know, harsh blob of color, and I just love that. It looks like it's a little aged and vintage. And anyway, so I got that on there, and I use such little paint, you could tell I'm just touching it right away because there's so little paint and the chalk paint dries so fast, so you can almost immediately start touching it. I must be watching something because I have no idea what I'm waiting for. Maybe I'm waiting for it to dry, we'll see. So next I'm going to take one of my ReDesign by Prima transfers, and I'm going to go with this one for the fall, and it says Thankful. And I love these little seasonal mini packs that ReDesign by Prima came out with, because you're not committed to a huge pack of stencils. It's seasonal, so maybe you just want a few for your decor. Or if you are a retailer like myself, I like to just have new items for customers to come in and browse. And honestly, customers come in not just for me to paint their furniture or my painted furniture, but they come in just to get little knickknacks, little seasonal things to put in their homes. And they know I'm not going to have the same thing that's at Michael's and Home Goods. And there's nothing wrong with that if you were total Home Goods, but I can't have my store look exactly like Home Goods, or I'm not going to sell anything. There's no way I can compete with Home Goods or Target or Michael's or Walmart. I just don't have the manpower or the inventory to compete with big companies like that. So I need to make sure that my pieces are kind of one of a kind. They have kind of my take on the holiday, and ReDesign by Prima just really gives us an advantage for that, and makes it so easy for us to have things that we can recycle our vintage wear with. And customers like that I'm picking up the canvases and the pieces of wood from places and saving them from salvage, so they know that they're not going to have the same thing everybody else has. So it's kind of fun, and it gives them something new to look in. So I got a lot of repeat customers, and they come in, okay, what's new? What are you making now? And it just makes it fun. So I just like I work on my little pieces at home at night in my little craft room. And then during the day, I work in the back of the store painting furniture. So there it is. And I didn't put a sealer or anything on this. You guys saw me just stencil it. Then I put a transfer right on top, and it has no problem sticking. Once it's all done, I kind of burnish it down with my fingers to make sure I don't have any air bubbles or nothing's lifting, and make sure I have really good adhesion. And then I will go in with my wax, and I'll seal it. Looks like I decided on this one to put a little gold around the edges, and this is a gold chalk paste. So I'm just going to go around with that. I think that just kind of helps bring in the gold and the ambers and the leaves. So I'm going to take my little dabbing brush and just put a little bit of sparkle. You know, gold is all the rage. I can't paint enough gold knobs, enough gold candlesticks, gold mirrors, gold owls. I just like anything you paint gold just flies right off the shelf, which is really awesome. I try to pay attention to the trends and what's going on, and watch other YouTubers, and try to make things that I think people could use in their home decor. But because we are upcycling and recycling, we can keep our prices pretty affordable. And there it is. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I'm going to seal it with the lemon verbena wax, and should be good to go. Because I felt like I needed to do a few touch-ups. You tend to get a little bit OCD on your own work, but I just want everything to always look as professional and as neat as I can. So when a buyer comes into my store, it just looks like, you know, not manufactured, but it looks handmade, but yet it's still in a great quality. So there it is. That will go straight to the store and onto the wall. And there I am sealing it with my palm brush by Wise Owl, and I have some lemon verbena wax on there, and I give it a nice little seal. I love that brush too. It's really easy, and I don't clean it off. I just constantly keep it mixed with wax or oil, and always have it handy there in my studio to seal my projects. Okay, here's a look at the other one I did. Also painted in black paint with the ReDesign by Prima transfer. And I put a little gold around the edges, just like I did the first one. And there's the second one I did, a little up close. So you can just see how nice those stencils and those transfers come out on canvas. Here are the little witches that I showed you at the beginning of the video that I spray painted black. I didn't really have to do much to these. I thought they were really cute black. I just added a simple bow and put them in the store. Okay, so as you walk into the store, I have a little entry. Let me just shut that because there's lots of construction going on. And there's a little sign that I made with a vintage canvas and one of my silk screens, and I put just a little embellishment in the corner. Here's another upcycled little sign that I put a silk screen. Here's the one I showed in the video. And here's another one using my Jamie Ray vintage stencils and my silk screens. Another little embellishment in the corner. If you saw my Halloween video, this little pirate was in there. Here's a little witch. One of the witches, two of the witches sold, but I still have two left from the video. Here's the other witch. I hope to get all these things on the website eventually so that you guys can start shopping from the website. Here is another one that I did upcycling a canvas for Thanksgiving. If you are interested in any of these items, feel free to leave me a message and I can ship. I'm happy to ship anything out. Here's another Jamie Ray vintage stencil that I used on a $3 little sticks from the Target dollar spot. Here are the little pumpkin molds I did out of vintage Jello molds. I just painted them, white waxed them, added a little stick and some twine. Those came out so cute. Here is another sign that I did. again using a JRV Vintage diamond stencil and a silk screen. The other one. And here's the other one from the video. Try and move slowly. And here, a little Halloween / fall display that I did. And the other tray sold, but this one is still available. I'll just kind of back up so you can kind of see the display on the table. And then in the back of the store is where I have my transfers, milk paint on display, all the different stamps. These are all on the website already. I carry Wise Owl chalk paint. And I do have some of the molds. I just saw Ginger Chick Rehab use this mold and I am going to definitely try that. I have the JRV Vintage papers. So I am a DIY store where you can pick up your supplies, although I do have a lot of customers that just drop off the furniture for me to go ahead and paint it for them. Some people like to DIY and some people don't. The decoupage tissue and all the metallic waxes. Brushes. I did bring in the line of wax brushes by JRV Vintage. I have clean on brushes, a roller, transfer tool. So I try and be well-rounded and have a variety of goodies. So if you see anything you like I said, message me and I'm happy to ship these out. Thank you all so much for watching. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Please share with a friend if you have a friend that also likes DIY. I really do appreciate it. I am trying very hard to grow my channel. Have a great day, guys.